If an asteroid were heading for Earth, could we knock it off course? We're about to find out. Hi there, I'm Jeff, and this is Plain English, where we help you upgrade your English with current events and trending topics. Today is lesson number 515, so that means JR, our producer, has uploaded the full lesson content to plainenglish.com/515. Back during the early days of the COVID-19 pandemic, I considered doing a lesson on all the other terrible things that might happen to humanity, things that have a low probability of happening, but which still might cause mass chaos. I decided not to write that because it was too depressing to even contemplate. But one of those possible risks was an asteroid hitting the Earth. It's a very, very low probability event, but hey, it has happened before, and it could happen again. So given that, NASA is starting to plan ahead, thinking about what to do if the Earth were threatened by an asteroid. And on today's lesson, you'll hear about a recent test for just that situation. In the second half of the lesson, I'll show you what it means to set something off, and we have a song of the week. Let's dive in. About 66 million years ago, a 10-kilometer wide asteroid struck the Earth near what is today the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. The impact was so strong that it killed 3/4 of the plant and animal species on Earth, including all the dinosaurs. Scientists now believe the event also caused an earthquake that was felt for weeks and months after the impact. You might remember the earthquake in the Indian Ocean in 2004. It was the third largest earthquake ever recorded. Scientists believe that the earthquake that hit after the asteroid impact was 50,000 times more intense than that earthquake in 2004. It was enough to kill most animal and plant life on the whole planet. Could it happen again? Moviegoers have long contemplated this doomsday scenario, as asteroid impacts have been featured on the big screen for decades. In the 1998 movie Armageddon, an asteroid the size of Texas, or over 1,000 kilometers wide, is on a collision course with the Earth. NASA, America's space agency, has just 18 days to stop it. They send a team of underground drillers to land on the asteroid, drill a hole in it, and set off a nuclear bomb to destroy the asteroid. They do it, the world is saved, and there's also a romantic subplot. You don't need me to tell you that this is unrealistic. Astronomers would have decades, if not centuries, of warning of a large asteroid heading our way. But even a small asteroid could do significant damage if it hit the Earth. a very small one could still wipe out the population of a city. But with enough notice, humans wouldn't have to destroy an asteroid to avoid collision. If the asteroid is still far away, a small nudge of just a few centimeters in one direction would be enough to push the asteroid off course. And toward that end, NASA sent a device into space to collide into an asteroid on a practice run to save humanity. Dimorphos is a 160-meter-wide asteroid about 7 million miles away. It's not now, and never will be, anywhere near Earth. It orbits another larger asteroid. It poses no danger to anyone. But in November 2021, NASA launched something called DART. It stands for Double Asteroid Redirection Test. The purpose of DART was to crash into Dimorphos at a high speed and to change Dimorphos's trajectory, even a little. The idea is a proof of concept. NASA wants to know if it can launch a device into space and change the trajectory of an asteroid. That way, if a small asteroid is ever coming our way, NASA will know how to save humanity, or at least avoid a potentially catastrophic impact. The mission had two challenges. First, it had to hit its target, and second, it had to alter the asteroid's trajectory. Last month, the DART successfully hit its target, and now the James Webb Telescope, among others, will study the asteroid's post-collision course to see if the DART did change the orbit of the asteroid. We're not talking about a big change. The forces of gravity will still apply, and Dimorphos will still orbit the larger asteroid. But NASA calculated that Dimorphos made a full rotation around the larger asteroid once every 11 hours and 55 minutes. DART was designed to crash into Dimorphos and move it slightly closer to the big asteroid. The mission will be a success if Dimorphos makes a complete circuit in 11 hours and 45 minutes, just a 10-minute difference. This would be the first time humans intervened to change the arrangement of objects in the universe, even if it's just by a little. DART was equipped with a camera so that NASA astronomers and the world could watch as the spacecraft got closer and closer to its target. For much of the journey from Earth, DART could be controlled remotely to fine-tune its trajectory. But in the last few minutes, there was nothing to do but watch. NASA scientists watched the live camera feed as the asteroid got bigger and bigger and bigger on the screen until it went blank, meaning that the crash happened as intended. In a few months, the data on Dimorphos's new trajectory will be in, and we'll know if the mission was a success. So let me ask you, what's scarier? Getting 18 days notice that the world would end, like in Armageddon? Or getting like 100 years notice? I mean, if like in Armageddon, you just have 18 days until the end of the world, you wouldn't be living with the dread for a long time. So yes, it would be nice to have, say, a 2-century lead time to destroy an oncoming asteroid, but that would be multiple generations full of worry. Today's expression is to set off. This is a phrasal verb with multiple meanings, but the way I used it today means to cause an explosion. It has been a while since I've seen the movie Armageddon, but luckily I had Wikipedia to remind me of the plot. A massive asteroid the size of Texas was heading for the Earth, and NASA has just 18 days to stop the asteroid. This being a Hollywood movie, the answer involved a huge explosion. NASA decides to send a team of people to land on the asteroid, drill a deep hole, and then set off a nuclear bomb. This would destroy the asteroid and save the Earth. The key step here is to set off a nuclear bomb deep inside the asteroid. Set off, in this case, means to cause the bomb to explode. What you're doing with set off is you take the action to cause the explosion. In the movies, this usually involves turning a key or pressing a combination into a keypad or connecting two wires or lighting a fuse or something. When you have a bomb, you would say that you dropped a bomb if you dropped it from the air, causing the explosion on the ground. But you would say that you set off a bomb if you put it on the ground and caused it to explode later. A bridge connecting Crimea to mainland Russia exploded on Saturday morning, October 8th. I wrote this lesson on October 9th, and at that time, it still wasn't clear what happened on the bridge. Russia said that someone set off a truck bomb. Other theories involve an attack from the sea or the air. The Nord Stream pipeline sends natural gas from Russia to Europe. Despite the sanctions against Russia over the war in Ukraine, Europe continues to buy natural gas from Russia. But this is a highly uncomfortable situation for both sides. In late September, leaks were found in the pipeline. The leaks meant less gas was reaching its destination. Security analysts suspected that this was Russia's way of reducing the badly needed gas to Europe, while pretending that it wasn't at fault. However, European military analysts believe that someone set off an explosion with several hundred kilograms of explosive materials in two places. You can set off fireworks. In lesson 274, you learned that people in New York City discovered a new way to entertain themselves early in the pandemic, setting off fireworks on weeknights. Neighbors, parents, and pets didn't like this new pastime. If you want to annoy your neighbors, you can start setting off fireworks without warning on a non-holiday. We have a lot of engineers in the audience. What happens when you're building a road or a dam or something and you run into a lot of rock? You set off a controlled explosion to blast through the rock. You cause an explosion. You place explosive material, you light the fuse, you cause the explosion to get through the rock to build the tunnel or the bridge or the dam or the road or whatever. It's Thursday, so it's time for a song of the week. This week, JR has chosen Hindsight by Jake Wesley Rogers. Hindsight is an interesting word. It means the ability to look back in time and analyze the past. When you reflect on something, when you think back on a decision or a situation from the past, you can say, in hindsight. So I might say, in hindsight, moving was a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. That means today I know that moving was a lot more difficult because I can look back in time and analyze the situation. Anyway, the song includes a common expression, hindsight's 20/20. That means you can see the past perfectly. The song is about regrets from the past, but of course, with hindsight, you know you would have done things differently. So Hindsight by Jake Wesley Rogers is the song of the week. Thanks, JR. And that's all for this week's Plain English. Congratulations on reaching the end of another great audio lesson. This one for Thursday, October 27th, 2022. We'll be back on Monday with more Plain English. Remember, you can get the full lesson online at plainenglish.com/515. See you back here on Monday.